Have you ever wanted to create content and a personal brand, but felt anxiety just thinking about being on camera? You are not alone. Here are some of the objections I hear most often when I encourage people to get on social media, to speak up, to take up space, to tell their story, and to show their face.
I don't know what to say.
I'm terrified of saying the wrong thing.
What about all the mean troll-like comments?
I don't like how I look on camera.
It just feels too vulnerable.
If you've experienced any of these feelings, you are not alone. These are the fears that come up for most people when I insist that business and personal branding matters. I'm Lisa Lacroix, and as a former film and TV actor, as a certified feminine embodiment teacher, and as a speaking and communication skills coach, I can help. Maybe right now you're thinking,
Lisa, I'm not a content creator.
maybe you just don't see yourself that way. Maybe you're actively opposed to social media. But if you have a business, let's address my all-time favorite.
I don't care about social media. It's just not my thing. My business fills by word of mouth.
Well, I'm not going to pull any punches. Even if you're doing okay right now, even if your business or your practice is full and you have all the sales you want, marketing, advertising, and consumer engagement patterns are changing. Over 90% of marketers say that social media has increased their business's exposure, and this trend is just going to continue. 93% of consumers expect brands to have a social media presence. And get this, listen carefully, 85% of those consumers think that brands without social media accounts are outdated. Maybe you're thinking,
I don't have a business. I have a job. So personal branding and social media stuff isn't relevant to me.
even if you're an employee for someone else's business, building a personal brand through social media is essential. It's a powerful networking tool, and it can help you build connections. It allows you to showcase your expertise, your skills, your accomplishments, all of which might be crucial if and when you leave your current company. Your personal brand and online presence can position you as an ambassador for your current company or for any other organizations that you care about. And you can build and hone valuable skills like content creation and digital marketing, becoming an AI ninja, and learning emerging skills that we don't even know we need yet, all of which are increasingly important in today's job market. Okay, so maybe you're independently wealthy, or maybe you care more about love than money. Maybe you're one of the 120 million people who are single, or one of the 50 million Americans who are on dating platforms. I think it's fair to say that rising up from that crowded field is more important than ever. You need a strong personal brand. It's like having a VIP pass. You stand out from that sea of profiles. Did you know that 71% of online daters say a potential match's social media profile makes an important first impression, and it might influence their decision to meet in person? I know this is true for me. I receive so many DMs from men saying,
Hi, beautiful. How's your Friday?
which, by the way, is a topic for a whole other video. But the point for this video is I go to their profile and there's nothing there. And I'm like, dude, you're either a bot, a scammer, or you just don't have a life, at least not one that's consistent with mine. Just like in the business world, an authentic online presence can build trust and credibility and can give potential matches information and reassurance about who you are. So let's assume I've convinced you that having a personal brand matters, but you're still afraid of saying the wrong thing, saying it the wrong way, maybe worried about how you look, nervous about being trolled, and feeling that it just might all be too embarrassing, too vulnerable, or downright scary. I would like to say that I can snap my fingers and make all of that go away. But the truth is that some of that is human nature. And some of it is the reality of doing the scary thing. I know that you can see that fear and do it anyway. And would it help if I told you that you are not alone. Everyone, even that person who seems to have their shit together, feels the same trepidation before posting and the same vulnerability hangover after posting that you do, that you would, that you might if you posted or when you post. You know what I mean? The good news is there are some things I can help with. So let's start with being on camera. When I was a film and TV actor in my 20s and 30s, working on over 100 episodics, movies of the week, and feature films, I learned a few things about being on camera. I experienced firsthand important information about eye lines and about lighting and other skills that I now teach in my Speak for Yourself course and my Captivating on Camera class. But I want to make sure that you have some of the information right now, right here. In that world of network television and big budget and even indie and small budget features, there are entire teams handling every detail, from script writing to camera operation to lighting, makeup, hair. There's even a whole department of people responsible for setting up the stands that reflect or block the lights. Well, fast forward to 2024, when content creation, filmmaking, short form, long form video are now within reach and available to anyone willing to take on that challenge. And yes, that includes both you and me. I create and post content on TikTok, Instagram, Libsyn, and other audio podcast platforms, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And like most small and independent content creators, I do almost everything myself with a little bit of help from this awesome dude in Kenya. I want to share what I've learned as an actor, as a coach, as a content creator to help you feel better about your own personal branding journey. Let's talk about how you look. Aim for soft, even lighting. That might mean using a ring light, although I'm not personally a big fan of ring lights except as a last resort. No, ideally, it's a big soft box, which you can purchase for under $100, or even two soft lights placed at 45-degree angles in front of you to reduce the shadows and highlight your face evenly. If it's available and not too harsh, you can do what I'm doing right now, which is use available light coming in from a window. And you can also add a key light to the side or to the back for a more dynamic look, maybe lighting up your hair or a piece of the background. Because I'm a digital nomad and I sometimes have to get creative, I will sometimes use lights from IKEA or even basic table lamps. The main thing is that the light is bright and clear with no strong shadows, no harsh lines, and no backlighting. Position the camera so it is aligned with your eyes or even slightly above. You want to make sure that your face is centered in the frame, avoiding angles from below or above. This would be an angle from below, not ideal. This is eye level, slightly looking down. One of the easiest fixes that can make a big difference is where you position yourself in the frame. Ideally, you want to take up a fair amount of the frame for talking head direct-to-camera videos like this one, and place yourself or move the camera or the webcam so your eyes are slightly above the center of your screen. You don't want to be too small or too low in the frame. Sometimes people think their eyes should be in the middle, and I would say that that puts you not in the best position. Ideally, your eyes should be in the top third of the frame above the middle line, and your head should not be cut off so that you have a good head and shoulders shot. These are guidelines. You can play around with these if it's appropriate for your content or for the meaning or for your own unique circumstances. Taking up enough space without cutting off your head with your eyes in the top third of the frame will give you a more engaging and professional look, and it will draw the viewer's attention directly to you, which will highlight your presence. To create a stronger connection in your social media videos, try looking at a point on your screen just below the camera. This simulates eye contact with your audience And you can adapt that based on different circumstances. In general, you want to simulate eye contact with your audience so that you can make the interaction feel more personal, more engaging, more like you're talking to your audience. And well, it might seem like a small thing, it makes a big difference between the feeling of disconnection that comes from when you're talking to someone that is either off screen, even if you might be looking at the picture of the person you're speaking with. But the connection makes viewers feel like you're speaking directly to them when you look in the camera. So if you need to, you can even place a small dot there, or even better, move the image of the person you're speaking to just below the camera. If you're reading a script, you can place it there too. Ensure your voice is clear, confident, and engaging. Some of the things to avoid, which you can work on with a speaking coach or on your own, are avoiding speaking in a glottal fry. I have a video on that, which I'll link here. Also, avoid upspeak, which is ending your sentences in an upward lilt, which makes it sound like a question, even if it's not. And be aware of the tendency that many people have of trailing off, especially when they're speaking extemporaneously and they're not quite sure how they want to end. The antidote to that is what I call landing the period, ending the sentence with a downward tonality that lets your audience know the thought is complete and it communicates confidence and certainty. Poor microphone quality can make it harder for your audience to understand you, more difficult for them to stay engaged with what you're sharing, and it can diminish the sense of your professional presentation. So consider using a condenser microphone for high sensitivity and a lot of clarity, or a dynamic microphone for environments with a lot of background noise. And then position your microphone between 6 and 12 inches from your mouth. And if needed, use a pop filter or a windshield to reduce popping plosive sounds like ple's and be's. Maintaining a consistent audio level throughout the video is important for a polished and professional sound. So if you're not a sound engineer, there are tools, free tools like Auphonic, which can be incredibly helpful. Auphonic automatically adjusts and balances your audio levels, making manual tweaks that you may not have the ability or the knowledge to do less necessary and ensuring a smoother listening experience. And then keep the background music at about 10% or less of your overall audio levels. This keeps your voice as the focus, and it prevents the music from overpowering your message. If your content involves complex sound design, then of course you can adjust the levels accordingly, but always ensure that your voice remains clear. It's a common mistake people make to have the music too loud. Also, with music, you want to avoid copyright issues. And while it's important and helpful and fun to access a wide range of music, you can use royalty-free music libraries like Epidemic Sound. This is not sponsored right now, but who knows about the future. Services like Epidemic Sound provide music that's safe to use and help maintain a professional quality without potential legal complications. Practice clear pronunciation and work on your ability to parse information so it can be easily digested. Now, I have a lot of content on these and other related skills in my speaking and communication skills playlist, and some of this is also covered in the next section on what you say. Make sure your message is straightforward and easy to understand. That means avoiding jargon or complex language. Focus on brevity, keeping your statements concise and simple. And I'm going to be honest, this is something I'm constantly having to work on myself. If you are like me and you have a lot to say and you want to give it all, then aim to communicate just 50% of what you know, focusing on the most impactful points and trusting that if needed, you can share more later. Say more with less. More signal, less noise. More meaning, fewer words. Focusing on delivering the most essential information clearly and simply so that you don't overload your audience and so that they have a chance to follow you and to digest it all. Make sure to use confident and assertive language and avoid phrases that undermine your credibility, like I think, or does that make sense? Instead, use strong, clear statements and be sure to use a technique I call landing the period. Ending your sentences on a downward pitch, communicating that you believe what you're saying and that your thought is complete. Become more aware of and start to eliminate the filler words you might habitually say, like like. There's nothing innately wrong with filler words, and while they can get in the way of your clarity and authority, beginning to eliminate them is really more about what you gain by dropping them, which is presence and connection, instead of filling the space and leaking your power. Know that there is great power in balancing authenticity and vulnerability of your genuine, real self with showcasing your knowledge and your competence and your expertise. This is complex and next level stuff, but I'm dropping it here so you can begin to consider. So there's a seed planted on how this might be relevant for you as you go down the path of creating your personal brand. My hope is that if you're still here, which obviously you are, that I've convinced you that regardless of your circumstances, it's important and powerful, maybe even necessary, to start building a personal brand by speaking up and taking up space on social media. I hope that I've also put your mind a little at ease and that you have a bit more confidence to break through those oh so common fears. That you have some specific skills that might make it a little easier for you to feel confident about how you look, how you sound, and what you say. While I offer coaching through my group program, Speak for Yourself, and individual coaching in a program called Bespoke, I also create a ton of free content on all the platforms. So follow me here for more actionable tips and strategies on my speaking and communication skills playlist, and for all the things I share on this non-niched channel. I love to hear from you in the comments. What's one thing that landed for you in this rather long video? And thank you for being here. I do not take your time or your attention for granted. Until next time, here's a few more videos and a playlist.